What's up, Southside Youth? It's Pastor Dalton here at the Redstone campus. Hope you have had an amazing Sunday morning. I hope you've had a great week at school, no matter if you go to Jefferson, Jackson, East Jackson, something in Clark County, if you're homeschooled, if you go to Bethlehem Christian, it doesn't matter where you go. If you go to Commerce, if you go to Banks County, man, we are so glad you are here. And if you're at a school that I didn't mention, please forgive me. I am sometimes overwhelmed by how many students we have all over Northeast Georgia, and I'm so glad you're here. Just know that. Even if I didn't say one of the schools, you could just chalk that up to me being a doofus, so forgive me. But we are so glad you're here at Southside. I want you to know that. If you're at Commerce, Redstone, welcome once again. We are glad you're here. Hey, volunteers, thank you so much for all you do as well for the next generation. But hey, today we're going to be jumping back into our Beatitudes series. And as always, I'm very excited about it because I love the Sermon on the Mount and I love this first section of Jesus's greatest sermon because I think there's a lot we could glean from the truths that he's given us. And today is no different. So we're going to jump right into verse 9. It says this: "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." What Jesus is calling good and who Jesus calls blessed is striking because he values things that seem to be upside down to us, to you and to me. Often when we watch a movie or when we read a book or we open a comic or we're watching a YouTube video, we often are praising the heroes. And the heroes quite often are the strongest, they're the biggest, they're the ones doing the coolest kick to somebody's face. They're the ones bursting through the doors with double guns just going to town. And in this moment, Jesus is challenging us to think differently. Everything quite often in our faith that you and I think would be the right answer is usually not. Usually the things that we're pursuing in our lives are not what God would have for us. And Jesus, he flips it all upside down and he said, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Peacemakers, man, that's challenging. In this moment, peacemakers, they're not passive. Peacemakers are actively seeking peace in the relationships around them. And I want to ask you this question today, and we're going to be talking about what a peacemaker is, but what are you doing to make peace in this world? How are you making peace in this world? How are you challenging those around you to seek out reconciliation and righteousness in the relationships they have with others? Today, as we study God's word, I want you to look at this idea of what is a peacemaker and how do we become one, and what are we doing about this whole truth that we've learned today? How are you going to take this idea of how do we become a peacemaker and how are you going to utilize it in your day-to-day life? So today, students, as we look at these scriptures, as we study this passage deeper, I want you to look at this idea of what it means to be a peacemaker and how do we apply that to our lives. Because what I know is this: peacemakers aren't passive, they're active. They're actively seeking peace in their day-to-day lives. If you're a follower of Christ, God is calling you to actively seek peace and not just seek it, but to make it. That's so challenging to me. Don't just seek it, but when there is none, as a Christ follower, make it. Not through your own power, but through God's. So today, as you study that, I can't wait to hear what you guys think and what you guys hear about this. Small group leaders praying for you as you lead this discussion. It's going to be a good one. Talk to you later. Bye.